in the world's he talking about? Well, y'all, when it comes to circumcision, the Judaizers, that's what they called them, the Jewish Christians, Jews who came to faith in Christ, they expected all the Gentiles. And again, if you were here when I went through Acts, you remember this. We went through it every week. There was always a Jew coming up, upset, saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't eat that, you need to be circumcised, blah, 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 blah. And he goes off on them here saying, y'all, that's all of the flesh, every bit of it. Circumcision is simply symbolic of what we believe, and especially in the Old Testament. Sin is referred to, our natural sin, our natural state is referred to as Adam's sin. It's the original sin. It comes through the Father. That's why when God made a promise in Genesis that the son of woman would stomp the head of the serpent. Why? Because Jesus Christ had to be born of a woman, a virgin birth. Again, one big story. It all lines up perfectly. And so it had to be of the seed of a woman. And so the way that God does it is he makes a covenant with them that was symbolic that the part, and I've got to be careful, I've got children here, the part of men used for reproduction. He literally removes the flesh off of it, right? And so that's the point. Just as baptism, we believe that Christ was dead and raised back to newness of life. Circumcision, it's another illustration. That's what it is. And that is done by hand, human hands. But the Apostle Paul makes it clear in the Bible that not everybody that had their flesh removed was of God. Just because you got your flesh removed don't mean you're of God. It just means you're missing a little bit of flesh. And so that's the point. And let me remind you and show it to you in Scriptures. Romans chapter 2, verses 28 through 29. A man is not a Jew because he was one outwardly. He's talking outwardly, flesh. Nor is circumcision only outward and physical. No. A man is a Jew because he is one inwardly. And circumcision is a matter of the heart, by spirit, not by written code. Talking about the law. It's not talking about human hands, by flesh. God talked about this in the Old Testament. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16. Circumcise your hearts, therefore, and do not be stiff-necked any longer. It's always supposed to be a circumcision of the heart. And in Colossians chapter 2, verse 11, Paul would write, in him you are also circumcised in the putting off of your sinful nature with the circumcision performed by Christ and not of human hands. And so when Paul says the so-called circumcision by flesh, that's what he's referring to here. He's not being extremely nice to them either, nor is he being extremely nice to the Gentiles. And so what is the point that Paul's trying to make here? You're all one. Every one of you's one. Did we not just read in Ephesians chapter 2, 8 and 9, you are saved by what? Grace. Through what? Faith. Least any should what? Boast. And it's not of yourselves. All of it is of God. So, what's the point? You were born a Gentile. Congratulations. You ain't getting to heaven. Not unless God shows you grace through faith. You were born a Jew. Congratulations. But you ain't getting to heaven because you're a Jew. You're saved by grace through faith. Neither. Nobody's getting to heaven and bragging, oh, well, I got circumcised. Congratulations. You ain't in heaven because you got circumcised. That's what he's trying to get people to understand. We're all one.